getting closer to home. This is Groveland, Massachusetts. So I'm heading into, no, this is downtown Georgetown, I'm sorry. This is the center of Georgetown, Massachusetts. After we go through Georgetown, we'll go into Groveland. And then from Groveland, we go into West Newbury. And that's where I live, in West Newbury. So as you can see, we still have snow here in Massachusetts, in northern Massachusetts. This is up near the border of New Hampshire. Most of it's all melted now. There was a lot more snow a couple days ago. And then if you go down to Boston and Cambridge, there's like literally no snow at all, especially like south of Boston. But we still have piles that have accumulated. But Rhode Island, where they got more snow than we did back in that storm, they don't have any snow at all anymore. It's all completely melted. But I would imagine north of here, there's still probably quite a bit of snow up in New Hampshire that hasn't melted yet. So spring skiing here in New England should be phenomenal this year. I highly recommend you get your bathing suits on and head on out for spring skiing. That's a lot of fun. Is it an X power? Do you have an X power, like an X-Men power? If you believe that the nature of reality is to some degree malleable, and although you don't have like, you can to some degree through affirmations and positive thinking, literally like change the nature of reality. And is that an X power? Like, and if you have it, are you a Jedi if you're really good at doing that? And being able to manipulate reality? I don't know. It's just really interesting. I think that it's, maybe there's somebody offering a course in how to do that. That would be interesting. I do definitely get into trying to understand the true nature of reality. Because if you try to think of things like in their entirety, when they talk about like this vastness of the universe, and it's just so overwhelming, right? But is it all real? And if it is, how can that be? What is the nature of reality? And I don't think that it is anything close to what we really think it is. For me, this is an amusement park. It's like having gotten an all-day pass to the most phenomenal reality amusement park. And it's got to be a reward. I don't know who gets to come here and who doesn't, but it's wonderful. But I don't think it's really what it appears to be. How can it be? We're at the bottom of the spectrum. There's nothing. There's only, there's electrons, which aren't really real. They're just probability fields. And there's, antimatter and matter, and, in some sense, all of this is created out of nothing. And then you find that they've done experiments like the double slit experiment, which is just completely famous, and it's just mind-boggling that observing a particle, an electron, influences which slit it goes through, and how it can be a probability wave and more deterministic based on your consciousness actually looking at it. fundamentally tells you something. I mean, it just fundamentally tells you that there are knobs and levers in this reality and skills that you could probably hone that enhance your ability to change the nature of reality to make it more beneficial to you in the reality that you want to experience. Very interesting. I don't know. These are the things I think about when I'm commuting home, because I've got a long ass commute. It's either this, or I'm gonna, after the end of this video, is probably gonna listen to another financial analysis of the impact of the war that we're having over in the Middle East. But I think we are literally weeks away from spring. And the way things work here in New England, right? So I live up in northern Massachusetts, along the border of New Hampshire, near the coast. If you travel every hour, I think, no, every 2 hours, like if you went from here to Providence, that would be like going forward in time like a week in terms of like the weather, right? And if you drove from here to New York City, that would be like going forward in time at least a couple of weeks. If you want to know what the weather's going to be here up in where I live, you go down to New York City, because that would be 2 weeks from now, approximately. Anyway, it's interesting, but it's true. It is true. So, and then if you go up to New Hampshire now, so they're still back, you know, they're farther back in time 2 weeks into the winter, right? So they've got more snow up there, but they are going to have some phenomenal spring skiing this year, I think. So I'm too old for spring skiing, but it's fun. It's definitely fun to go skiing with a t-shirt on or shorts. Some people go swimming with their bathing suits on. Interesting. Now we are approaching Groveland, Massachusetts. I think we're already in Groveland, actually. So this is a nice suburb of Boston, like a pretty remote suburb of Boston. You know, white collar kind of place, single family homes. You know, very New England-y looking. I think we drove by a Christmas tree farm down this road. That's pretty common. There's a bunch of Christmas tree farms around this area. And this is downtown, if you want to say downtown Groveland, Massachusetts. So you got a nice little like town center here. I guess this is where they must have mustered in the time of the Confederate, you know, the Civil Wars. I have no idea. But this would be, you know, this would be that area. There's a lot of towns in New England that have these kind of like common areas where they would like muster the troops or something like that. So if I continue to go over the bridge and I go into Haverhill, Massachusetts, but instead I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go toward West Newbury, Massachusetts. West Newbury, Massachusetts is a very small town within Massachusetts. It has, I believe, around, I think, less than 4,000 residents. That church is in Groveland. It's still in Groveland. A lot of it is forested areas. What else about West Newbury? Oh, John Cena is from West Newbury. That's an interesting fact. People run into him occasionally at the food mart. And his mother, he bought a house here for his mother. And he donated, I think he still does, he donates a car to be raffled off for charity every year, and the proceeds go to some kind of like Make-A-Wish Foundation. Nice guy. Definitely a nice guy. I've never run into him though, but it'd be pretty cool if I did. He went to Pentucket High School, I think, which is the high school that serves West Newbury, Merrimack, and Groveland. So we're still in Groveland. Wood frame houses, you know, variety of ages, some dating back to like the 1700s all the way up through something that was just built last year. Kind of interesting. A lot of these different architectures. That's a mansard. I like that style house. Definitely, you know, like a lot of unique structures. You know, a man's home is his castle. You know, so you can, you know, that's a nice spread over there. Somebody's got like a big spread out near the river. So the Merrimack River is to the left here. There's some land between us and the Merrimack River, but that's where the Merrimack River would be. And then now we're coming up on Pentucket High School. Kids went to high school. That's a new high school. They went to the old high school, so they didn't get the opportunity to attend the new high school, which is too bad. But it is a good school. That's a new high school, and that's Nick's. It's a good place to get food.